We have witnessed yet another Black Monday because the government of the day continues to soil its hands in blood. Apparently, it is being reported that 4 people have been reported dead, shot by the police. That is in Kangemi and Ngong. As we had expected, we knew the police was not going to exercise any restraint. And it is because just the other day we saw a police officer shooting a man who was only but selling mask. So today, there were really some tensed moments between the demonstrators and the police. I don't know who was on the offensive side, but from the record of the police, I can easily guess that they were there to ensure that the demonstration never went on successfully. But I want us to begin by the Subaru men because just moments before the deaths were reported, there were Subarus all over. Can you take a look at this? So those are Subaru's masked men, people who do not, some of them do not want their faces to be revealed. They are in civilian, they are carrying hizo bunduki, and they are not going to war. So it only means that they carried those guns for one purpose, to kill those who are demonstrating. Then in Kangemi, it is reported that they shot at some 2 men. Okay, the witnesses claim that the man, one of them, was not even part of the demonstration. But this is exactly how things looked like.
Kufa hajakufa, hakuna. Ako wapi?
So just like that, we have people who are now going to start arranging for funeral services, courtesy of a government that perhaps they chose, perhaps they did not, but a government that we, maintain with our taxes. And I'm imagining the high power will conduct what they call investigation, and they will give the police a clean bill of health. I don't know whether the parents of those who have been killed will also be given 2 million and they build for them houses the way they did to the parents of Ojuan. Now in Ngong, it was even more tensed. There were running battles, and at some point, the police was overpowered, and then we could easily see. In fact, the situation in Ngong was bad that you could easily tell that the police was going to it was going to result into some deaths. Kindly look at what was happening in Ngong. You know, there is no evidence that the police lives were in danger, because I've got a feeling that when you are cornered and your lives are in danger, perhaps you are providing security and then you are attacked, then inaweza eleweka kidogo ya kwamba you are protecting yourself. They are also human beings. But in the absence of that evidence, all we know is that these are people who will always be on the offensive side. And William Ruto promised that he would put an end to these killings, but it seems this is the order of the day. It is the modus operandi. When you see those Subaru guys sent to, restore the situation in a particular area, then you know that all they want is to kill. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a feeling that one of the reasons why we should try and change the UDA regime is to have a government that will listen to the people so that we do not end up in such a situation. I have listened to people who say that, the people of Mount Kenya do not want William Ruto in power. But you see, it is not only the people of Mount Kenya. And the reason why the people of Mount Kenya complain so bitterly is because they are the ones who gave William Ruto his victory at a time when William Ruto was almost unpopular. When other Kenyans had decided to send William Ruto home after he had served his 2 terms as a deputy, the people of Mount Kenya shielded him and voted for him. So you can easily understand where the people of Mount Kenya come from. That the man they thought was as white as snow, or rather they were blinded, has now come full-blown, and they are, let me say, the first victims of his harsh treatment economically, in terms of respecting human rights. And that is why they shout a lot. And when we get a president that will listen to the people, then anyone, because many people say that, some people are playing mischief. Why did they make noise when Uhuru was in power or Kibaki? We are pretending that we don't know 2 things. One is that the level of exposure or the use of social media was not as equipped as it is today. Instagram, Facebook, X, and all that. And that is why today William Ruto has been has been so much more exposed compared to Kibaki or Uhuru Kenyatta. It is not that Uhuru was clean. It is not that Kibaki was impeccable. It is only that this time round, the technological advancement has really improved compared to the past. The other thing is that this very Uhuru Kenyatta we are talking about also got a shield from Raila Amolo Odinga, the same way William Ruto is being now sanitized. It is Raila who sanitized Uhuru Kenyatta. So they are the adherents of the broad-based government who are making noise that no one really criticized when Uhuru was killing people. That's what they say. I remember there are people who really criticized when there were claims that Buddhists were being dumped in River Yala. We need to change this regime. If there is no any other reason why you feel this regime should be, sent home, the fact that this regime is in charge of a killing squad that is ending life prematurely, I think is enough reason to sing one term. Yeah. Some of those people are saying one term have got no personal vendetta against the regime. In fact, let me tell you, I'm a proponent of this idea that we don't care who is in power, whether Kalenjin, a Kikuyu, a Kamba, a Luo, a Kisi, the Ogiek, a Turukana, as long as the president is governing in accordance to the dictates of the constitution, if the economy was doing much better than it is, if the president and the regime was obeying and respecting the constitution, if he had respect to human life and human rights, we wouldn't have a problem. If, for example, today there was free primary education, or rather free education from baby class all the way to the university, and when you get to the hospital, the drugs are there, and when we get reports from the controller of budget and the auditor general, you realize that the government of State House is given a clean bill of health. Roads are being constructed. If we would declare this country zero tolerance to corruption, no one would be making noise. In fact, we would easily expose those who are trying to make noise about that government. But then, we still have a president right now. He's embroiled in a tug of war about building a church in State House using 1.2 billion Kenya shillings. And he wants to do it authoritatively. Don't you think these are just conduits of corruption and maybe a way to entice the church? The same thing he did when he got to power. What I'm just saying is that we cannot allow more lives to be lost. Some people are arguing that the lives that are being lost today are no much precious than the lives that were being lost in Kisumu. And I agree. But you see, when the government was killing the Azimio protesters, when Raila led them to the streets, we criticized the same. We were never quiet. It has never been right that a government that is being paid by taxpayers turns against the people that feed him. It is Kenyans that feed William Ruto. Yeah, we maintain this government with a lot of taxes, and we have always criticized it. It has never been, right. It will never be right. We complained, we criticized, we lamented. The same way we are now complaining, lamenting, and criticizing the deaths of others. And let me tell you, I know some politicians are really have got some bad character. There are those who perhaps rejoiced when others were being killed. Does that make killing a virtue? Does it make it right? If today I rejoice when someone is being killed, and tomorrow my children are being killed, I rejoice when some children are being killed, then tomorrow my children are being killed. Does that make killing the right thing to do. And my position is, because I've seen some people complaining that, let Ruto continue killing other tribes, because when Luos were being killed, some people were quiet. And even if some people were quiet when Luos were being killed, I know there are Kenyans who complained, who criticized it. It can never be right. The only lesson that we need to learn is that what goes round comes round. An injustice to one person is an injustice to all of us. Justice delayed is justice denied. And if it is denied to one of us, it is denied to all of us. That is how we should look at it. If we are going to be in a country where if Kisis are killed today, Luos are happy or Kambas are happy, then tomorrow Kambas will be killed and Kisis will be rejoicing. That is not the country we need to be in. We need to be in a country where every tribe will complain when another tribe is being killed, because regimes change, and we've realized that there is one modus operandi. If there is a regime that has lost touch with the people of Kenya, with the people who elected him to power, they turn into beasts and they start killing. As we speak, by the way, when I hear, when I see the report that 4 people have been killed, I know I can triple that number. 4 by 3 or 4 by 4, let me say so. About 16 people. That is my own opinion. Whenever a government or you see the media giving some reports, I know the independent institutions are still compiling, maybe the Law Society of Kenya, Kenya National Human Rights Commission. By tomorrow, you will see. Because I believe that just one life lost are just lives too many. It is a dark Monday, a day that was supposed to celebrate the gallant men and women who liberated the country. Instead of that liberation, more people are being killed. Of course, I know we are fighting another kind of liberation, because the last time Sabasaba was the first time when people like Anyona were going to the street on Sabasaba, they were fighting one-party state. Today we have a multi-party democracy, but it is on paper. And there are other things like economic liberation, political liberation. We must continue fighting. We cannot relent. Had we relented, our forefathers would have not fought the colonial masters to gain independence. Had the Young Turks relented, we wouldn't have gained the multi-party system. We would have remained in one-party system forever. But today, we are just like it's like we are in a one-party state, because if you look at what William Ruto is doing, he wants to kill opposition. Thank God that the opposition decided that we're not going to die just because Raila has joined you. So, ladies and gentlemen, from where we are, we should condemn the killings in the strongest terms possible. These Subaru men have formed this penchant of just killing all of us anyhow. If it is not kidnapping, it is killings and maiming Kenyans. Ni wewe unaweka petroli kwa hiyo Subaru ni wewe ulinunua kwa sababu ni pesa yetu kama wa Kenya. So you will see the IPOA, because this will be reported, they will say there's no evidence. I remember the case of Rex Masai. They protected the police. So the IPOA and the police is the same thing. If we want to end abductions, if we want to end killings by the Subaru men, then we must change this regime. But I just want to caution, when we change this regime, we need to know who exactly is replacing Kasongo. Otherwise, we can fall from a frying pan into a fire. But one thing I hold very strongly is that Kasongo must go. He's a good man, but not good enough to be our president. Maybe he can be good in other areas. I don't know what to think, but just the other day, people went there to protest against the life of Ojwang Albert. More deaths are being witnessed. And it seems this is the modus operandi, even as we approach elections. Something tells me that they will attempt to capture power by force, and when you go to the streets, they start shooting. But Kenyans are so determined that if it is the blood that will liberate the country, so be it. I don't know what to think, ladies and gentlemen, but it is sad that we are losing more lives, and it is the more reason that we should vote out this regime. What do you think?